and welcome to Art with Mrs. Beaufeaux. Today we're going to be reading one of the best books in children's literature. It's called Where the Wild Things Are, and you guys have already done a small project like this way back in the day in first grade, but we're going to expand on it and really be awesome by creating our very own imaginary animals. Let's see what Maurice Sendak has done with his amazing brain and see what we can do to create our own animals, recognizing the habitats that they live in and using specific art elements such as shape, line, color, texture, and value. Like I just said, today we're focusing on the ideas of imagination and planning. We're going to be looking at the story called Where the Wild Things Are. This is a read aloud I did last spring for some of our friends. As we're looking at the video, I want you to focus on the illustrations and think about the art elements that we've discussed throughout our time together. I really want you to focus on the idea of implied texture. I want you to look at different portions of the creatures, including their faces, their feet, and their hands. Where do you think these creatures live? We are going to work on a planning sheet, including the following questions. Where does your animal live? What type of habitat? What parts of your animal help with living in this environment? What does your animal eat? What is their main food source? What textures does your animal have? So let's look at some of my answers to these questions. We know from animal science, right, and earth science, that habitats are the area, the environment in which a creature lives. So my animal lives in small ponds in western Wisconsin. It lives in and out of water. Think about some other creatures that might live in and out of water. That's what my habitat is. Your habitat could be something completely different. Think about the Arctic. Think about the Sahara or a jungle. Where do you want your animal to live? Next question, what parts of your animal help with living in this environment? My animal has webbed feet to help it swim and a set of clear eyelids so it can see underwater. That was something that I always thought was really interesting about amphibious animals. The clear eyelids I thought was neat, so I decided to include that in my animal. What does your animal eat? What is their main food source? Okay, so why would this be important? Well, if we're thinking about the structure of the face of the animal, if it's a carnivore, it's going to need teeth or a beak or something hard, right, to rip those pieces of meat apart. So I said my animal loves eating small bugs, water weeds, and grass. So again, going back to that habitat. What texture does your animal have? Let's remember what texture is. It's how something feels, okay? So my animal has slick, rubbery skin and scales on its legs. It also has feathers on its midsection to keep it warm, and it produces an oil to help waterproof its feathers on that midsection. So why would it be important to know any of this stuff? Well, when we're gonna create this animal, you're gonna have to include those different art elements and ideas. Not going to give you an example of me drawing today because I don't want you to steal my ideas, but really I want you to use your own imagination and not have any outside art influence except for the creatures that Maurice Sendak has previously created. Let's take a look quick at some art elements of art are located in our classroom. Right here we have point, line, shape, form, color, value, space, and texture. As you guys are creating your projects today, I want you to remember that this is located up here, and you can always look up when I say, I think you could add a little more texture in your project. What's texture? Take a look. I think I'd like to see different colors or different value. What about form? Does it look like it's three-dimensional? Or shape? What shapes are you including on your image? After you've created everything on your planning worksheet, this is going to be your next job. I'm going to give you a piece of nice paper and you're going to refine your animal. On your worksheet, there are images, there are places for you to create 4 different sketches of your animals. And what you're going to do when you get your nice piece of paper is you're going to choose which sketch you like the best and why. Then you're going to refine your animal and copy the image onto that nice piece of paper using your pencil. You need to remember to create at least 4 different textures on your final drawing. Some ideas of textures: scales, feathers, fur, spikes, prints, swirls, think about like a tiger or a zebra or a leopard. All of those things would be different patterns that you could include, as well as your textures. You're gonna overline with permanent marker and erase your pencil drawings. Once we have overlined with permanent marker, depending on how far you are, you might be able, oh, look at my cool silver hair is showing up. Oh, magic hair. You're going to pigment your image. So this can be done with colored pencils, markers, watercolor paints, whatever the time allows for. If we don't finish this today, we will continue this on the next rotation that I see you. So do not panic if you don't get it done today. This has been Art with Mrs. Beaufeaux. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.